I started as an artist when I was 21 or 22, and then I stopped when I was 25 for some years, and came back when I was in my 30s, and have been, I guess, an artist now for the last 30 years. I stopped because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what images I needed to make. I had a crisis of confidence in my art making and went to try to become an actor, tried to make films, and 5 years later was back in the studio making drawings again. And when I came back, it was saying, I'm going to be an artist. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't know what I'm doing, but I know it's the right thing for me to be doing. So it was when I could embrace the uncertainty of the activity. The situation, say, for a white artist coming from a well-off family with all the privilege that goes with it, so many safety nets behind. I could be an artist and fail, and I knew I wouldn't starve. I knew that if I was an artist and succeeded, I wasn't going to have to support extended families at the side. There wasn't a pressure for me to have to make an income from it. My wife was a medical doctor. She could support us if the pictures did not work. And that's such a different situation from someone who's determined to be an artist but has no other form of income, doesn't have a family that says for 2 years you can be an artist, and if you don't make any money, that's fine, we'll support you. So that I'm very aware of just how much easier it was to become an artist with in the 1980s in South Africa for a white man compared to someone who's come from a different background, a different history. Apart from also the ease of contact with galleries, with buyers who would have been from my parents' circle of friends. If you don't come from that circle, it's much harder. It's much, much harder for both then, but also now, for a young black artist to say, this is what I want to do, and I'm determined to do it. The degree of determination and of pushing themselves and having to escape all sorts of other pressures is much more heroic. If you survive as an artist, in other words, from selling your work through galleries or to collectors, and you make enough money to live on from that, the chances are you're supporting a number of other people at the same time, even if you're not directly employing them, because you think, okay, there's the gallery owner, there's the gallery assistants who work in the gallery, there's the framing shop, there's the people who may be casting your sculptures or weaving the tapestries. So that the artist is the tip of the iceberg, and from the artist going downwards at all levels, not just at the top, not only the most successful artists, but there's a huge spreading of that. I think what I can do is look back and say, what were things that were fortunate in retrospect? So the one would be very much starting out either in an artist-run space or showing work with colleagues of artists in group shows, rather than jumping into solo shows straight away. The background in the humanities, in my case in political science and in African history, gave me a perspective into the world, to understanding the world as process, as an unfolding process. And a confidence in dealing with subjects outside just of the world of art. If you are going to spend your life in the studio making art, everything you've learned outside of the studio is all going to be vital. I think for me it was, and my advice to younger artists is to devour the world in one way or another. I had a very good mentor in the person of Bill Ainsley, who was both a teacher at the Johannesburg Art Foundation, but also a very good model of what it was to be an artist. The number of hours, the amount of work needed to put into that activity, the seriousness with which you took the activity. It's the work in the studio that will determine whether people respond or don't respond to your work. And the greater the focus you can put on what happens inside the studio, the easier, not necessarily automatically successful, but the easier the work outside the second half of the artist's job becomes. People are always cleverer and more stupid than you expect. Certain things that you think are obvious, no one understands. Other things that you think are going to be obscure, people will respond to. So the only way to work is for the work to work for yourself and the people around you, your editor, your music person, if you're working in those forms of mentor, key people whose judgment you trust and whose sensibility you are in sympathy with. And if it works for them, then the hope is that there will be further people outside of the world that will. I've never worked with a contract with a gallery. I've never had a written contract. There's never been a formal contract. There have been agreements, there have been negotiations, there have been points where there have been clashes between myself and the gallery, but it's never worked for me to say, I will produce X number of drawings a year that will go to you or something like that. It wouldn't work for me, and in the end it wouldn't work for the galleries. So it does work on good faith, and if that good faith is broken, one way or the other, the gallery either won't work with you or you won't work with the gallery. I think if someone has a clear sense of the difficulty of the business of the arts, a lot of people would be put off. So on the one hand, if you want artists to emerge there, it doesn't really help to start at the beginning to say, these are the financial conditions of what it is to be an artist. But it also doesn't help for people to go in blindly and ignorantly and not have a sense that what are they likely to get if they have an exhibition with a gallery, who's going to take what? How do you find a gallery? All of those things would be extremely useful. What should you expect if someone's showing your work? What are terms that are ridiculous that you should not accept? It helps to have a forum in which that can be discussed. It would help to have a site in which a young artist could go and say, there's a gallery interested in my work, but this is what they want, and is this reasonable? And sometimes you can explain, yes, it may seem unreasonable, but it actually is, and other times you would say, don't go near that, that's not going to work for you. There's a lot of advice one could give to artists in different circumstances starting out, but it's difficult to legislate it into a best practice model. The less you take it as a business decision, but as something that you really need to do, because you need to work with your hands, you need to be in a studio, you need to do it, the chances are the better your prospects are on the other side.